There is something that surrounds us everywhere all the time, even in your own mind. It might be applied to every value you have, maybe your laptop, your backpack, the potential of happiness that is supposed to be there. It might be in your relationships. I say might. I'm just buttering it up. It is. What is it that surrounds even your own existence of what you think you are? Certainly in your relationships, it abounds. What is this one thing that I want you to think about? Error. What is error? And first, maybe you challenge what I'm saying. Does error exist everywhere?
Well,
you might think, we'll start with just thinking about that for a few moments.
What's mistakes, right?
Exactly.
I got something better than that.
So the first question is, what is error? Just think about that.
What?
Error.
Oh, error?
Yeah.
No idea.
What is error? What does it mean when there is an error has been made?
It's my deal.
What do you do about an error? What does one deserve who has committed an error? Now, how does an error compare with the idea of sin, the world's idea of sin? Now finally, if you got yourself a definition of what error is, how often is there error in this world, in your own life? Thanks. So what is error?
Missing the mark.
Missing the mark.
Same thing as sin
Ah,
to me.
didn't get there.
Not operating on a higher frequency.
Yeah.
I saw it as true karma.
Error is true karma. That sounds like what you get with error.
I don't know. It seems like keep that coming back.
I thought is every time I have a separate thought,
Yeah.
which is quite often, listening to the ego thoughts.
That's how easy it is to find an error. Yeah. What's error itself? What's that mean? Oh, that was an error. He made an error. What does that mean?
It means you didn't reach the goal that you were expecting
Yeah. There was some idea,
and didn't get there.
didn't get there. What do you deserve if you made an error?
I suppose it would depend on the type of error.
Oh, the conditional treatment. Yeah, let's just see what you
I
did.
mean, it depends on what it is.
What kind of consequences
Sure.
are you saying?
I think different errors, you get different consequences.
Oh,
You would just need to be corrected,
aha,
simply.
aha. Simply a
And
correction.
it's a constant. It's happening
Forgiveness.
constantly. Just constant correction. Because we're constantly in error. We're constantly missing the mark.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it?
So, how does error that just asks for correction? Because an error is unintentional. Is that true?
It's
Not
innocent.
always.
You wanted to hit the mark. You had a goal, and you didn't make it.
Yeah, I always, when you said was the difference between error and sin, I was thinking, well, error, you didn't mean to do it. You
Yes.
You didn't intend to do it. No
Yes.
intention there.
Yes.
But with the sin, you did intend to do it. And that's what's so cool about what Jesus said in the Course. He said, no, it's just an error. Sin, there is no sin, it's just an error. So I thought that
Yeah.
was kind of neat.
The Course says there is no sin. Of course, sin is. The world says that sin is an unforgivable mistake or an uncorrectable error.
Who says that?
The Course
Oh.
is unforgivable. It says there is no sin, but the world believes that the world's definition of sin is you've done something that can't be fixed. You caused some harm somewhere that really deserves punishment for as bad as it was. And we can't take it back because you apparently intended to do it.
That word has so much energy on it.
Yeah.
I like the word error better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I even like mistake.
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It just seems so innocent.
Yes.
You're missing some information, perhaps.
I forgot who I was.
And that's why we were in error.
Yeah. The Course says there is no evil. There's no sin because there is nobody who intends to do harm. What they intend to do is find happiness. They may think the way to do it is through attack, through harm, through murder, and the list. Sure. But the goal is not wholly and completely just to destroy. I did it. I destroyed. No, I did it. I destroyed, and I feel better. I wanted,
I wanted
to.
peace.
I wanted
love, but I found a twisted way to go about it.
It's when you murder someone
That's right.
because you want peace from someone.
That's right. Yep. You thought this would be better somehow. Somehow.
Did we create the ego?
Made. Because you have to use the word made, not create. Create means
Only a
that it stays.
It's
unchanging.
stuck.
Creation is an extension. The ego is a projection.
So in effect, we really didn't know what the hell we were doing. We were looking for a way to separate our creator
Yes.
and hopefully
Yeah.
Now, how would us four crazy folks stepping out of God's love circle and fathering with this voice, Lord, how could we have known? We just didn't trust, did we?
Well,
Thought you had a good idea.
Huh?
Thought you had a good idea.
it's funny you say that. I was just reading something. That's why I was reading something on karma today, and kind of ties in with your thing. How did we know? And it kind of went all the way to the Adam and Eve thing theory. Once they got out of that heavenly realm, it was just total poison.
If you believe what the Bible says.
No, I'm just kind of making some type of.
Well, that's because thoughts seek their own type. And so if you start thinking separation, you will find more thoughts of separation, and you will start, and once you see something that looks like it might be separation, you'll decide it is, and these thoughts prove themselves, and deeper you go in the rabbit hole. Now, the same is true for the other way. When you start to join, and you seek for similarities and joining, chances to be kind, you will find them. And it's rewarding when you do. And so thoughts seek their own type. The Course says love seeks love.
Well, the thought, and what we see out here is just the thought projected out. So we always, it's the same thing.
Nice.
The cause, which is the thought, and what we normally think is an effect, is really the thought projected out, and that's what we're seeing out here.
Nice. Nice. That's right.
There's no difference between the thought and what we experience.
Cause and effect are not separate.
It's the same thing.
Funny thing. How many times you read that in A Course in Miracles?
Ideas leave not their source.
Ideas leave not their source.
Yeah.
We just experience what's in our life is
The dreamer
what's
of
in our
the dream.
thoughts.
Yeah.
That's
So
how we
what
know
is-
how we're doing, right?
Yeah. So you got basically what you thought. And if it didn't hit the mark, it didn't work. You probably did not get what you thought you would get. You didn't get happiness, you got something else. This is an error. This is an error. What it deserves is
Forgiveness.
Correct.
some correction. Yeah, right. And if you think harm is done, it deserves forgiveness. But if you really see the error, you don't see the harm.
So that's why Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just an error. They could really use some correction. A little bit of guidance would be good. But not punishment.
Because correction means you always saw that it was innocence, and that you realized that they just forgot who they are, but you always saw it as innocence.
So we're taking these multiple lifetimes, quite a number usually, and most of us haven't broken through all that insanity yet. We really got put upon. We were really dummies, but it seemed to me there should have been, or there is a way that this can all be reversed.
Yeah.
And that, the only thing I know of is just you damn well don't know what to do. Don't even consider you know what to do about anything, because you don't. Okay? So you just have to humble yourself, okay, back as you can to your Maker, in hopes that He will instruct you to reverse all of this insanity. then we go back to our Creator. Okay? It's taken quite a while.
Well, back to your previous statement. We made the ego. And the ego only exists by being upheld.
If we're believing in what we make.
If we're believing in what we make. If you stop believing in the ego, how long does it last? Zip. It's instantly gone. And completely gone. So that's how long it takes to reverse it. Course in Miracles says of itself that it's not a doing. This is an undoing.
It's a surrendering of our ego thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. Turn to page 49 in the Manual for Teachers.
49.
Back of the book. There'll only be a sliver left when you get there. Go to the back of the book.
Then we know where it is.
The pages start 3 times in
That was
this
a
book.
good clue.
Yeah. Yeah. 49. I got caught in a sandstorm in the desert. It was wild. Yeah, you know what? And I was thinking that I wanted to experience a sandstorm.
Were you driving or?
Watch out. Watch out for what you ask for.
You gonna see sparks?
You know, I was looking at, we were in the desert and we were looking at some cave-type paintings on the wall. And I noticed that the wall, this big rock, it was just getting warmer and warmer colored, I thought, well, it's just getting softer looking. So I turned around and I could look directly at the sun. Now that's not right. And the sandstorm was coming in. Oh, wow. It was blocking out the sun. Within 10 minutes, we were buttoned up in the Jeeps and driving out. And choking on this stuff.
Was it clumps of dust or just like...
No, it's just like fog that's blowing in fast and hard. The particles are so fine. It's blotting out everything. It's amazing. Mixed with trash and stuff. So I'm still choking up some of that. I'm coughing it out. So forgive me for the noise. Okay, page 49, Manual for Teachers. Barbara, would you begin for us?
Justice is the divine correction for injustice. Injustice is the basis for all the judgments of the world. Justice corrects the interpretations to which injustice gives rise and cancels them out. Neither justice nor injustice exists in heaven, for error is impossible and correction meaningless. In this world, however, forgiveness depends on justice, since all attack can only be unjust. Justice is the Holy Spirit's verdict upon the world. Except in his judgment, justice is impossible, for no one in the world is capable of making only just interpretations and laying all injustices aside. If God's Son were fairly judged, there would be no need for salvation. The thought of separation would have been forever inconceivable.
That's a loaded paragraph. Let's continue.
Justice, like its opposite, is an interpretation. It is, however, the one interpretation that leads to truth. This becomes possible because while it is not true in itself, justice includes nothing that opposes truth. There is no inherent conflict between justice and truth. One is but the first small step in the direction of the other. The path becomes quite different as one goes along. Nor could all the magnificence and the grandeur of the scene and the enormous open vistas that rise to meet one as the journey continues be foretold from the onset. Yet even these, whose splendor reaches indescribable heights as one proceeds, fall short indeed of all that wait when the pathway ceases and time ends with it. But somewhere one must start. Justice is the beginning.
All concepts of your brothers and yourself, all fears of future states and all concerns about the past, stem from injustice.
Wow.
Here is the lens which, held before the body's eyes, distorts perception and brings witness of the distorted world back to the mind that made the lens and holds it very dear. Selectively and arbitrarily is every concept of the world built up in just this way. Sins are perceived and justified by careful selectivity in which all thought of wholeness must be lost. Forgiveness has no place in such a scheme, for not one sin but seems forever true.
Wendy?
Salvation is God's justice. Salvation is God's justice. It restores to your awareness the wholeness of the fragments you perceive as broken off and separate. And it is this that overcomes the fear of death. For separate fragments must decay and die, but wholeness is immortal. It remains forever and ever, like its creator, being one with him. God's judgment is his justice. Onto this, a judgment wholly lacking in condemnation, an evaluation based entirely on love, you have projected your injustice, giving God the lens of warped perception through which you look. Now it belongs to him and not to you. You are afraid of him, and you do not see you hate and fear yourself as enemy.
Pray for God's justice and do not confuse his mercy with your own insanity. Perception can make whatever picture and mind desires to see. Remember this. In this lies either heaven or hell, as you elect. God's justice points to heaven just because it is entirely impartial. It accepts all evidence that is brought before it, omitting nothing and assessing nothing as separate and apart from all the rest. From this one standpoint does it judge, and this alone. Here all attacks and condemnation becomes meaningless and indefensible. Perception rests, the mind is still, and the light returns again. Vision is now restored. What had been lost has been found, now been found. The peace of God descends on all the world, and we can see.
Okay, so this is a discussion of justice. And the J in justice should be capitalized here. This is not the ego's judging and determining the proper punishment. Not what this is talking about. It's talking about right thinking. What is right thinking? And the only source of right thinking will have to come from right-mindedness, from the Holy Spirit, who can actually look at things and see them as they are. So when we talk about error, we talk about reconciling an error. Hey, Ray. The first thing comes to mind is there some punishment required if something didn't go the way it was supposed to go? And I think everybody here is pretty much willing to see an error as needing only correction. An error is an error. And if you read this book enough, you figured out that indeed there is no sin, despite the effects and the consequences. True, the intention is innocent. maybe really messed up method to get what you want that caused a lot of damage along the way. But if we trace back to the actor, trace back to the intention, it was the same desire all of us have. So now what's justice? Right thinking. And all of us touched on that. Innocence, give it some correction. It's simply a missed mark. Had an intention, missed.
It's a different justice than the world's definition, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what, like in the Bible it says, leave justice to me, says the Lord. It means to interpret it through His eyes, not ours.
Well, as this section says, in this second page, you're not going to find in the world the ability to see justly, because the world is defined by injustice, by wrong thinking. Error is everywhere. Error is everywhere. Even in the most solid, reliable things of this world, they're on a foundation of error. So it is. Now, with this idea of justice, of right thinking, the idea of correcting your mind so that you wouldn't see that a punishment or a judgment was even called for, that you see the innocence behind every single maneuver on this planet. Everything in your own mind, or that you might witness around you, the basis of it would be forgivable if it is seen as error. So essential is this very simple thought. Because if it's not error, and it didn't go right, does it really deserve to be forgiven? Shouldn't you punish? Shouldn't you correct with force?
Projected guilt.
Give some guilt is present.
What happens if you don't feel guilty?
Yes. So no harm done. Your mind is free. Is a correction
Still upside down?
Is a correction still required?
Seems to me.
You didn't get what you wanted.
Seems to me it's still wanting.
You will be unhappy, and you will be unhappy without getting the results that you desire. So what I'm talking about here, that's why we meditated on the term of error, because how present error is. It is so very common. In the discussions and battles with your loved ones, there's error along the way. You didn't understand the word. The first word out of the person's mouth, probably. You didn't quite get the way they said it. So, of course, now the discussion is based on an error. And you respond with what you thought they said. That's another error. And on it goes. Error after error after error. Correction would be really good.
You know,
Tolerance would be
when
good.
you said that, Dick, what I realized too is that there's no guilt there, and it's satisfying, and you're happy for a while because you are getting what you think you want, but the illusion doesn't last for a long time.
I always keep one hand on my wallet,
Yeah.
on one cheek at least.
It only lasts for a while, and then the illusion, and you're back to the old
Then back to that cycle of
unhappy.
Right.
Because we have these denied feelings and thoughts that we're not seeing and accepting. So the ego's got us thinking that it's okay because we're denying those thoughts. So we're not aware. And then we project it out.
Mm-hmm. And if we stay in the judgment side of things, where they should have been different, and we want to pass some guilt around, well, then we're going to have to attack, and we're going to have to fight, and it gets pretty ugly. If we can move our mind to error, on the other hand, right? It's a mistake.
That's all.
It's all. Does it require punishment? It could use some love.
I'm glad it wasn't any worse than it is.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
So it was just a mistake. The person is innocent.
Yes?
And then if I could see that in the person, then when I make a mistake, I'll see that I'm innocent instead of feeling guilty, right?
Yes.
That's what happens. Because, you know, who am I saying the innocence of anyway?
So how do you apply that to something like the guy that goes to school and kills all those children?
Yep.
Like, really, how do you apply that to that?
Good example.
Just a mistake?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
get it, I'm just saying, but I mean,
Yeah.
just a mistake, the effects of that mistake are devastating to so many other folks.
Yep.
Unless you're eternal.
I get-
And you realize that, and then those folks maybe have some kind of a realization that we're not even aware of, you know, at a spiritual level, at a forgiveness level, because our fear is that they won't get what they need or the awareness that they need. We're afraid that it's going to affect them because we project ourselves onto that versus we don't really know what they're getting, the greater gift. We don't know.
Like the Amish that forgave, the story you told about how the Amish, the child was killed, and they all went together to the murder and said that we forgive you. I mean, what a shift. So I like what she said. The only way I can handle that example is to say I don't know, just that nothing else works for me, or that I really don't know.
If you take yourself right down to the moments before this person pulled out the gun and shot, or the day before, when this person was in so much anger or pain or confusion, blackness, darkness, unhealthiness, sickness, whatever drove one to go buy a bunch of guns and start dreaming about killing people. What does that person, what could that person use at that moment? What could that person utilize when they're thinking, when they're in such darkness, when they are feeling fear, anger? Yeah, they could probably use some guidance, some understanding, some correction, some hope, some reset, some rearrangement of their thinking that might bring peace or light instead of darkness and anger. Really. Really.
But our whole society is based on punishment.
Uh-huh.
And so we're putting people in jail and they're not getting anything they need to take their next step.
Yes. We don't have to go to the legal system and in the prisons. We can stay right in our own minds for this discussion. What kind of thoughts do we have about ourselves? We're forgetting to take the garbage out last night, and the truck has come and gone. What do you have for a week now in your kitchen? You're going to have to deal with that, right? For a whole week.
That's a good example. No, you're right. We beat ourselves up all the time.
We do.
Oh, you're right.
Well, I think that we grew up getting beat up, and then it becomes a normality, and then you just continue the cycle of beating yourself up.
I'm just talking about an error here. How easily we forget a simple mistake. And yet we decide to elevate it beyond that very simple occurrence.
We talkify ourselves with guilt.
We already have the consequence of overflowing garbage, and then we have to put our guilt on top of it to multiply the problem instead of just looking at the garbage and going, I should have taken it out.
Oh, well, it's so simple.
Is.
It is what it is.
Or quote unquote, my piece is not for sale, including garbage.
The overflowing garbage. We'll compound the garbage situation. It's so much better if we can find somebody else to blame.
Projection.
Well, you should have taken the garbage out. I took it out last week. Well, you thought I'd take it out 2 weeks in a row? Is that what you thought?
But you're the guy.
because I'm the man, huh? Pretty sexist of you.
Guilt's like a hot potato. It's like if you catch it, you want to give it to somebody else.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's true. It's like, whoops, yours, not mine.
See, that's because we've taken it beyond error, isn't it? Now, it really deserves some, the guilt now needs some punishment. To balance it out, to finish it. But if it's an error, is there room for guilt? Is there room for punishment?
No. Just simple correction.
Yeah. So now, if we see the same situation that a moment ago had guilt and required punishment, and now we see it as an error, how does that feel? Does it feel different? Does it feel at the core different? You have to shake off the idea of following this event up with some punishment.
Yeah, it's so painful to have to keep up after it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's difficult. It's a hard way to live.
It's exhausting and suffering.
Yep.
It's painful. And it's doing.
So what we're talking about here is a shift in perception. That's the definition of a miracle.
It feels like such a relief.
It was contracted and tight, right? We had a mistake. We didn't take the garbage out. The truck has come and gone. It's piling up.
It smells awful.
Smells.
Good, so good.
It's spilling off the top onto the ground. For a week, we got to live with this. What if the neighborhood dog digs through the bag? Oh, it could be all over the yard when you get home. All because somebody forgot.
Like raccoons.
Now, if it's only an error, it's always an error, right? No matter how bad this gets. A pack of dogs comes into this bag you set outside, okay? You decided I'm taking it outside, I'll tie it tightly. And I got a nice empty bag in the kitchen, okay, things are okay. No, a pack of dogs come from the neighborhood, and they rip up that bag, and there's garbage all over your yard. The egg yolks are drying on the cement. Still an error. The ego wants to jump in and say, no, this is not an error. The consequences are so bad that we got to get some punishment going here because we cannot possibly let this happen again. It was okay before when it was just overflowing in the kitchen, but now...
And we got to find somebody that we can put this on to. And then when we get him, we're going to punish him and stick him in jail.
They got to pay.
You know what this reminds me of? I love that you're saying it's still the same error. Like, think about the oil spills, the Valdez oil spill. That was an error, but it ended up being the consequences were just horrific, Yes. But still, it was an error. Nobody would do that on purpose. I mean, why would you do that on purpose?
Well, that's so funny that you say that. So many people want to create that it's not innocent.
Yeah.
Right.
They did it on purpose.
They would have pinned somebody.
They thought about it ahead of time, and they made this happen. And
why would they do that?
No, I know, but all day long I'm surrounded by people that think that about everything.
Yep. And like Wendy was saying, these thoughts have an effect.
Yep. No neutral.
Well, that's what they're always going to see if that's what they think
That's
all
right.
the time.
That's right.
I'm surrounded in a new work environment.
It's a very painful
lady,
way.
that's all she sees is...
Yeah. That's a very painful way to live. That's a painful work.
I want to help her, and I want to help her, but I don't know that I can.
Yeah.
I'm also under the idea that you can't help people that aren't really looking to be helped.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what to do for her. I just listen to you.
Yes.
It's almost as if people don't see it as something that has to be punished, then it would have given the owners of the Valdez the space to say, I'll correct it. And they could correct it, and nobody is thought of as bad or evil, because everybody thought of them as evil after that. Yeah. So, of course, they're going to try to defend and make it seem like it's not their fault, because nobody gave them the space to be able to say, we made a mistake, and now we're going to put $1 billion into correcting our mistake.
Yeah, that's
so
really
it's like a domino effect where nobody's given the space to just correct.
It's space, just to refrain and give the the person
Because
because
nobody
everybody
wants
makes
to be seen as-
mistakes.
Nobody wants to be seen as evil.
Constantly.
And the captain always goes down with the ship,
Yeah.
just like the Titanic. That's a great example.
Yeah.
And
Because of shame.
when
And
she-
even-
went down,
And even
he's
those
coming
mistakes really aren't mistakes. I mean, even those mistakes, like I was asking Spirit, how can I see truth in this, you know, in that spill? And then the other one was what you were talking about, that murder, some of the murder incidents. And I was just being open. And it was like I read something, you know, it's in front of me, and I'm reading, I'm going, oh, wow, you know, they passed a law that says no more, I forget what it was, guns allowed in one of the states, or some kind of new gun law. And then another one had something about violence, looking at how violence affects children. And I'm like, oh, wow, you know, how do I know what that spill or what it's going to bring to the world, the awarenesses that we need for our next step?
Oh,
They
so
don't
you're
know
saying
either.
they could actually serve us. Those
Exactly,
catastrophes could,
exactly. Even us by saying that, I mean, it's kind of a strange way to be or look at things, but to even take it a step beyond that, even in that, there's a perfection that we don't even understand with our little eyes that say, you know, that's an error that should never have happened. How do we know?
We don't know.
Yeah, and it should have happened because it did.
Yeah.
Or else it wouldn't have happened.
Well, most importantly is we don't compound the error with judgment and attack. We would, in order to not serve out guilt and punishment, you'd have to somehow see it as an error and treat it like an error. And this is what A Course in Miracles is teaching us to do. Turn to page 472 in the
Can I
workbook.
ask for clarification?
Yeah.
You mean see it as an error or see our minds as thinking the error? The error is in our minds. It's
Indeed.
not out there.
Indeed. There is nothing out there.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. There's no error that any of that would happen. The error is in here.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Geraldine. You bet. You bet. Yeah. Yep. Forgiveness is an inside job. Everything comes through your thoughts, not to you from the outside. So 473.
For everything in your life just comes from your thoughts.
This is in the workbook. So just turn about 40 pages back. Yeah.
So, feel guilty yourself.
This section called "What is a Miracle?" 473.
We've been there before.
Have we ever seen this page before, Dick?
He knows.
I think you're up to bat, are you? Now, Dick, we're in the back of the book. We're still in the back of the book.
In the workbook.
In the
We're
workbook.
way in the back?
Way in the back.
You want the workbook?
I know, we never go there right now.
You're in the daily lessons?
Yeah, daily lessons.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yep.
473.
473. If you're not going to see guilt and sin that requires punishment, then you're going to have to see differently. You're going to have to see differently. That's what a miracle is. It's a shift in perception that allows right thinking.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you got to follow up with a lawsuit and punish. Do everything the world does. That's where the world works. The world works without miracles.
If we're all one, you can't touch one. You can't touch that situation.
That's right. That's right, Dick.
Everything
That's the
is
bottom
just
line.
a laugh.
That's the bottom line.
What's going to happen is
Yeah.
we're going to perpetrate our own pain.
Pardon?
We'll
Yep.
perpetrate our own pain,
Yep.
even if we think we're getting somebody else. or
Not
getting
me.
justice. If we follow those lines of justice.
But no, I'm saying if we return to who we really are, which is not individual, separate beings, we're all one. That has an enormous effect on everything. Okay. How the hell can you blame somebody else? You fully understand. You made the whole situation in your mind What are you doing pointing the finger at somebody else, you dummy? You're responsible for everything.
Be a little
Period.
easy on me, would you? Be a little easy on me, would you?
Oh no, I'm just real. I'm talking about myself.
Yes.
I have to wake up from that.
Yeah, with that thought, you can derive the entire Course in Miracles teaching.
Yeah.
You can derive the whole book from that one thought. From oneness.
Forgive me
easy.
what you made.
Yeah.
Forgive
Is
me.
that complicated?
No.
No.
Now, in the meanwhile, if we're going to move our mind toward a corrected thought, for corrected perception, that will allow us to not feel the requirement for guilt and punishment.
Yeah.
See, the world keeps following that if somebody didn't take the garbage out, we can't let it happen again. They slipped, and boy, are they going to pay. Did that garbage truck come early? You could have got out there maybe if they didn't come 5 minutes early. Well, let's get on the phone and make them come get this. This is a problem. I found somebody to blame. They came early. This is a painful way to live, where punishment is required.
Yeah.
Now, Wendy's pointing at something that's really critical here. What is the real cost of this? Not only is it a difficult situation right in the moment, with the yelling and screaming and all that, but you're establishing your own guilt. If it was Geraldine who forgot to take the garbage out, it's written on the refrigerator, it says, Tuesday is Geraldine, and where was she? Sleeping in as usual.
Dreaming those good dreams.
Plenty of room for judgment.
Yeah.
Now,
We're not teaching ourselves anything but guilt if we're projecting it onto our brothers.
That's right. As much as we might indulge in blaming it on Geraldine and taking it out on her somehow,
Then we're believing that tax serves us.
and
That means that we deserve it, if we believe others deserve it.
it's only a matter of time until Geraldine gets a chance to turn the finger around and say, where were you, buddy? Will she feel like being forgiving? Will she feel like being understanding? Will she feel like recognizing an error as a mistake? Payback is a bitch.
This is the old karmic circle, isn't it?
The karmic circle. Thank you, Ray.
I'm getting that. I made a mistake or an error 23 years ago.
Okay.
And I'm paying the price.
We made them all day.
Well, with the wrong company.
No, I'm talking about a child.
Yep.
Oh, child.
My son.
Uh-huh.
And this is on a real level. I'm finding all these little things that we're talking about here.
Yes?
When you say an error, it's so long ago, the error is only right here in this moment with your mind.
Well, now I'm dealing with another mind looking at me, at my, past. That's just, it's just,
Sure.
it's just,
Right. But that's them, and you get to be with your mind.
but now this mind has to go into a courtroom now.
Well, there's no problem with that. It's just your mind. Right?
You wouldn't mind it?
I don't mind it now.
You wouldn't mind it?
That's what I have
I
to
mean,
do.
Mind?
that was another experience. Right?
Very good.
What a great experience.
Course in Miracles says you have one responsibility, one goal. Choose the atonement for yourself. Regardless of how many children are involved, or what things you did in the past,
Or how many court cases you go to.
or how many court cases you go to. It's always right here, right now. Can you be a better father now
Yes.
by clearing your head?
Yes.
I think so. How difficult is it to carry guilt, the burden of guilt and shame, and be a really good father?
Well, I'm going to prove that he murdered his father to have this new father. I don't know. It's just something I have to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh.
That you're saying that he fostered a transformation. Isn't that what you're saying?
I want to do it all with love.
It sounds beautiful.
Because, I mean,
Wow,
I
know
hate
what?
that. I
think
really hate
everybody-
that kid, but I really love him.
Of course.
This is what I really have to do.
The hardest people are our best teachers.
Oh.
There's no question.
In this world, no matter what you do, if it's inside the courtroom or outside, it's the same. It's better done in peace. You learn this in martial arts. You're going to go fight somebody. You're way better off doing it in peace. So much more accurate. You only do a certain amount of harm absolutely necessary so that the person doesn't hurt you.
I like that.
It's, it works out better for everybody.
Only one black eye, so that's it.
Yeah, that's right. Could have been 2 black eyes. I get really excited, sometimes I stutter with my fist and both of them go black. I'm sorry.
The other one I like is honey kills more flies than vinegar. That's what my nanny boy said.
That's really twisted. But that's an old life tip.
Honey kills more flies than vinegar.
What a great teacher you become when it's payback time and you don't pay back.
Mm-hmm.
You just give, and the other person, what a great lesson they learn.
Yeah, how powerful is that?
That's the most
They
loving
really-
experience.
They may really think about it 2-3 times. What we're talking about is but now to do that honestly. There's a way to do that dishonestly,
Right.
where you really think you should punish them, but you decide not to. They deserve it, but you're not going to do it.
Because you're hoping for more in the future. But
Yeah.
when you truly come from love,
Yes.
and they feel that.
Yes.
There's such great lessons in that. And it's a beautiful thing to watch when that happens.
That's what we're talking about here. Yeah. This is when a miracle, the shift in perception occurs. And now it's natural for you not to attack. You don't even there's nothing to forgive. If the shift in perception is correct and you see the error now instead of a sin, forgiveness is not even required because the miracle's in place. Forgive what? They didn't mean it. What are you talking about?
It was an error.
Yeah. Are you up to bat? If you just read?
I like that.
I'm not going to read tonight.
All right, Kathy, would you
Too tired
close?
from last week.
It was a wonderful teaching, Dick.
Almost fine.
It was really good.
We're 73.
A miracle is a correction. It does not create or really change at all. It merely looks on devastation and reminds the mind that what it sees is false. It undoes error, but does not attempt to go beyond perception nor exceed the function of forgiveness. Thus it stays within time's limits. Yet it paves the way for the return of timelessness and love's awakening. For fear must slip away under the gentle remedy it brings.
A miracle contains the gift of grace, for it is given and received as one. And thus it illustrates the law of truth the world does not obey, because it fails entirely to understand its ways. A miracle inverts perception, which was upside down before, and thus it ends the strange distortions that were manifest. Now is perception open to the truth. Now is forgiveness seen as justified.
Nice.
Forgiveness is the home of miracles. The eyes of Christ deliver them to all they look upon in mercy and in love. Perception stands corrected in his sight, and what was meant to curse has come to bless. Each lily of forgiveness offers all the world the silent miracle of love, and each is laid before the Word of God, upon the universal altar to Creator and creation, in the light of perfect purity and endless joy.
The miracle is taken first on faith, because to ask for it implies the mind has been made ready to conceive of what it cannot see and does not understand. Yet faith will bring its witnesses to show that what it rested on is really there. And thus the miracle will justify your faith in it and show it rested on a world more real than what you saw before, a world redeemed from what you thought was there.
Miracles fall like drops of healing rain. I love that. Miracles fall like drops of healing rain from heaven on a dry and dusty world where starved and thirsty creatures come to die. Now they have water. Now the world is green. And everywhere the signs of life spring up to show that what is born can never die, but what has life has immortality. Wow, that's beautiful.
Isn't that something?
Poetic, isn't it?
Wow, that is.
Yeah, beautiful passage.
The feeling of surrender and the peace. Just thinking about this idea of just dropping any kind of justice defense.
Yeah. See how it ties with the idea of error? See that first sentence in this section here? It says, a miracle is a correction.
That's what we're here to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
After we get enlightened.
At least along the way too, Dick. Don't stop. Don't wait. Don't wait for correction. Yeah. I'll correct everything when I get enlightened. But for now,
It's not your fault.
yeah. Yeah. Isn't that beautiful? Paragraph 2. He says, a miracle inverts perception, which was upside down before. And thus, the miracle ends the strange distortions that were manifest. That's what we're talking about with an error. When an error is seen as sin, when somebody makes a mistake, and there's these consequences that happen, and we decide that this was not an error, it's got to be punished, they need to be attacked. First, we've got to make really for sure they know that they're guilty. Get them to admit it. And then we attack them and punish them. Then we'll have some justice. This is the way the world thinks. It's happening all the time. All the time. It's a hard way to live. And you are describing your own destiny, even as you attack somebody else.
And dating it along the way.
And what?
Dating it along the way. Every aspect of it.
Yeah.
Including the last one. Death.
Yes. Now you go this other route where you see error is error, and you don't follow through with the guilt, the punishment, the attack, the counterattack.
That's forever.
The guilt for attacking too much. Well, okay, so I shouldn't have been so hard on you, Geraldine. Even though you did a terrible thing with the trash, but I was a little...
No, I didn't.
Yeah, overslept.
I didn't oversleep. The truck came early.
No. I'm just following my inner rhythm.
Yeah, my inner rhythm. I like it. How innocent is that? Now, you go the other route where mistake is a mistake. It's such a better way to live. You don't need to pass out guilt and attack, and you don't have to be worried about it for yourself either. Mistake is a mistake. An error is an error. Look at this paragraph 2. Look how it finishes up. It says, that a miracle inverts the perception that says that an error is a sin. It inverts that perception. And it ends the strange distortions that were manifest. Isn't this how we live? With these strange distortions of what just was a simple mistake. And now we're weeks into an argument with our loved one about it. We even forget what the original thing was. All I know is that we've been yelling at each other. And I'm not making dinner for her. Ha ha, you kidding after the way she spoke to me last night? Ha! Strange distortions echoing on from this not seeing a mistake as a mistake and treating it that way.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. Yeah. And it's all it always is. There is no sin. They're all errors. Everything of this world is an error that does not deserve attack. And it will just cost too much if you do attack. For you and for the other side. Cost too much. Okay, so now we go the miracle route. So the miracle route inverts the perception. Now the perception is open to the truth, to the innocence that Wendy keeps pointing at. It's always the case. If you look deeply enough, you will absolutely find innocence at the bottom of all these events. You absolutely will. Now is forgiveness seen as justified. Forgiveness is really hard until you get this. It's a job, it's work, and you have to repeat it, and it's difficult. Well, I forgave him, but I'm still mad. Didn't that happen? You didn't forgive him. You couldn't because the miracle did not occur. You did not see an error as a mistake. You saw it as a sin deserving punishment, and it's just a matter of being fair. They got to pay.
That's the world's way, right?
Yeah.
So does the miracle help us transform looking at something as does it transform the sin to the error, or does the miracle come in after you figure it, no, it's just an error? Then the miracle comes in and says, okay, so we can make a correction. So where does the miracle come in is what I'm trying to say.
Perfect question. Where does the miracle come into this scenario that we're dealing with the trash and, you know...
And Geraldine was sleeping.
Yes, yes. Which we've talked about before, Geraldine. So.
Inner rhythm.
Sorry.
My inner rhythm is my inner rhythm, baby.
That's right.
You just smoke some of this and try it yourself. All right. Where does the miracle come in? This is such an important question. Let's get practical here. Let's let the Course tell us where the miracle comes in. You played right into my favorite paragraph.
You can pay me later.
Okay, I'll pay you later. Now flip back about 500, 600 pages into the text to page 595. And let's find out, where is this miracle? When does it apply?
In the text.
In the text, page 595, paragraph 12.
Wow.
Where
How did
is
you know
this
you were going to turn
miracle?
to that exact
Where?
spot?
When does the miracle occur?
When you shifted your mind, you changed your mind about how you saw it.
When do you need a miracle? If God is love and everything is good, you might find the miracle right where you need it. So who's up to bat? Barbara?
The world is full of miracles. They stand in shining silence next to every dream of pain and suffering, of sin and guilt. They are the dream's alternative, the choice to be the dreamer rather than deny the active role in making up the dream. They are the glad effects of taking back the consequence of sickness to its cause. The body is released because the mind acknowledges, this is not done to me, but I am doing this. And thus the mind is free to make another choice instead. Beginning here, salvation will proceed to change the course of every step in the descent to separation until all the steps have been retraced, the ladder gone, and all the dreaming of the world undone.
Wow.
What a beautiful
Stand in
paragraph.
shining silence next to every dream of freedom.
That's Course in
my
Miracles.
favorite ever.
In one paragraph.
Of sin and guilt.
That's where is the miracle? Look at this first sentence. First of all, the world is full of them. Didn't we say the world is full of error by the end of our meditation? It's just everywhere. Misunderstandings abound everywhere. So the miracle's also everywhere.
The fact that we're here.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely right. 100%. And so waiting behind, look how it explains this. They stand in shining silence. Shining silence.
I love that sentence.
Shining means it's bright and available.
Yes.
Silence. You find a miracle through silence.
Amen.
It shows. You prepare your mind for a miracle by taking a breath, going silent, saying, Holy Spirit, show me another way to see this. Open your mind. Show me another way to see this.
I got to experience one first.
Yes? Yes?
I just don't want to read about it.
No, this is true. This is why we have a workbook. You will fall into a miracle. If you're doing your lessons, and at 1 o'clock, right after lunch, you come back to your desk and your stapler's gone. I know it was there when I went to lunch, and now it's gone. I know somebody took it.
The squirrel took it.
You can experience a miracle in something as simple as that.
Oh, yeah.
A shift in perception where attack is no longer needed. And the freedom that occurs from the shift in perception now proves the value of the miracle, because you get a breath of ease when the attack is not justified.
Yeah.
And so you're right. You do have to experience a miracle to know that they're even valuable. Otherwise, it really sounds like a bunch of hooey. Attack seems a lot more direct than forgiveness. Until you tried. Until you tasted the better life we're talking about.
You want some more of that honey?
You do.
We did the attack last week, remember?
I do. Yeah. That's what got me into all this.
Sorry, but so with the stapler, what would the miracle be there?
Yeah. So a miracle here.
So someone took your stapler and what would say? Please think. Let me see this differently. So
Yes.
How would you see it differently?
For example,
Yeah.
that my stapler is missing
Yes.
does not necessitate my pain. Are you harmed for not having a stapler? Are you forced to just, pick up your car keys and go to the bar? I need help. I need my therapist.
Okay, I see.
My stapler's missing and I'm in real pain.
So the miracle is to give you perspective.
It's to give you perspective.
Okay.
It's to give you right perception.
You realize it doesn't matter anyway. It
To
doesn't
real-
even exist. It's a dream. Okay.
That stapler is not connected to your happiness.
Okay.
Except by
Like
some
he's
twisted
dependent
thought.
on that.
By some twisted thought, the ego will come in and try to force a connection to your happiness to something that's missing.
Right.
But the truth is, you were whistling Dixie coming back from lunch 30 seconds ago.
Or before you even had one.
Life was good until a little $4.50 stapler was missing.
I see what you're saying. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
So as soon as you have a different perception about it, as soon as your perception changes,
Yes.
instead of from being angry to just going, well, that's the miracle.
Yes, the miracle is a shift in perception that what you saw, what you perceived as harmful is not.
So when you need your stapler,
Yes.
you borrow one.
Ego wants to
You ask somebody else for theirs.
Yes.
If you take theirs.
You go steal somebody else's. Let them work on forgiveness lessons. You're really helping them out.
That was the only staple there ever was made.
When you need your stapler and it's not there,
It's a reminder.
it's life in a body. It's not good. It's not bad. It's life without a laptop for a week.
Or how about not having a body? That's going to be a shock.
Certainly. It's a matter of your expectations of what you are and what you need. If your life revolves around that stapler, it will be hell. Your life will go to hell. You will need the bartender after all.
Right.
However, if you correct your mind, you have a shift in perception about what's really going on here.
Yeah.
You're free. You'll just go through life. Is it possible that life includes having to go find a new stapler?
Or you don't know how it'll show up or not show up. That's where the miracle lies.
And that's life too.
Yeah, you don't know.
Life's so much easier when you're not fighting and you're not attached
Or looking for it.
to the
Or
existence.
looking for it, yeah.
Could you end up with a
I
better
like what you
stapler?
said.
Possibly.
Who knows?
Could you end up going green and having no staplers at all?
Did you realize that your piece does not depend on it? By
Yeah.
not
You
having it?
realize you don't need it anymore? Somebody's doing the stapling now instead of you?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Who needs more than one copy and one page?
Let's go digital. Emails don't need staples. No. All I'm talking about
Yeah,
is
who knows?
that it's such folly to attach your happiness to anything of this world. Anything of this world. That's why I use a ridiculous stapler as an example. Anything of this world.
Yeah, that
Now,
makes a lot of sense.
I mean anything of this world.
Yeah.
Including the people of this world.
Exactly. Including
Including your body.
Your body.
In
Your
particular.
this is where I'm really going.
Including your body.
This is the hardest one, is your own children.
Oh.
It's the hardest one. But including that, because by God, behind that child is the entire world. Staplers included.
Wait, say that again, sorry.
Behind that child being held off as different somehow, as being special, and this, my happiness is my child, says the. My happiness is my stapler. I'm sorry, but they are of the same level, because they are of the world, they are material, they are separate, they have separate social security numbers and a face and a place. It's tough, okay? I know it's tough. But freedom is behind it. To call in the miracle. If you're struggling with this idea, let's read this paragraph again. Because this is pay dirt. Claudia, would you read it for us again? Paragraph 12.
This world is full of miracles. They stand in shining silence next to every dream of pain and suffering, of sin and guilt.
And dead child. Or child on drugs. Or child in jail this week. Go ahead.
They are the dream's alternative, the choice to be the dreamer rather than deny the active role in making up the dream. They are the glad effects of taking back the consequence of sickness to its cause. The body is released because the mind acknowledges this is not done to me, but I am doing this. And thus the mind is free to make another choice instead. Beginning here, salvation will proceed to change the course of every step in the descent to separation until all the steps have been retraced and the ladder gone and all the dreaming of the world undone.
Boy, did you hear that? Beginning here with this miracle, with this reversal of thought, beginning here, salvation will proceed to change the course of every step in the descent to separation. We're talking about undoing duality. Right here, right now, with this problem that's staring you in the face, beginning right here, will undo the descent to separation.
Tough trip.
Until all the steps have been retraced.
It's a tough trip.
Mm-hmm. Yep, simple but tough. But it's simple, Dick.
Very simple.
It's immediate.
Simple.
And it's simple.
Yeah.
But it can be very tough. Especially if there's a child involved.
Yeah.
Yep. Descent to until all the steps have been retraced, the ladder gone, and all the dreaming of the world undone.
And that's what Gary Renard was talking about, the disappearance of the universe.
Yep.
That's how it disappears.
Yep. That's right.
One illusion at a time.
That's right. That's right.
And realizing that each one is equal, like in the miracle, it says not one is more important than any of another. Even though in the world we give different values to different things.
Yes. When he's talking about miracle principle number 1, on page 3.
The children and the staples.
They're all equal.
They're all equal.
We're all just letting go of the world, of everything we're valuing.
You know, this book starts with this.
Which causes us pain.
Yeah, and I've never seen this in any other spiritual discipline.
What it starts.
On page 3, look at this miracle principle.
He must be in 3 in a daily lesson. Huh?
No, in the textbook.
Oh, the
Principles of miracles.
This is the first miracle principle. It says, there's no order of difficulty in miracles. One is not harder or bigger than another. They're all the same. All expressions of love are maximal. Wow.
Really need to get that.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the different things that we value, to the extent that we value it in the world, create suffering.
It appears to be different because we value things more and less. But an error is an error. Big or small, it doesn't matter. An error is an error. No guilt deserved, no punishment required. A simple correction will be welcomed. No order of difficulty. It's all the same level. This is what makes the Course so simple. And you know that it's true because when you do apply a miracle in the toughest moment, and you actually do it, you actually go silent, go into that silence to find the shining miracle, and you allow the Holy Spirit to let you see it differently, your shoulders drop, you get relaxed, you say, I don't have to fight this one. This is an error. This is a mistake. I was about to make a big mess about a mistake. Oh, thank goodness. Peace is at hand. I could choose peace instead of this. And then you get the results of peace. Even as you go to court, if that's what you have to do.
Oh, there's a reason I'm here today. Because I'm going into court.
Okay.
Murdered his father. I got to show him.
Okay then. Yeah.
What's left?
Uh-huh. Yep. We just do it in peace. Yeah. Yeah. Without attack.
Without attack.
Without judgment.
Without judgment.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's beautiful.
Very simple that way.
Is that a literal murder?
Huh?
A literal murder?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now this book is called A Course in Miracles. It's right on the front cover, right? Starts out with talking about miracles. And they're so powerful they are. It's all the same level. Life, a murder, or garbage night mist. If you can see your way to error is error, the Course is talking about your own identity in a body and all the things you do with it. You murder sometimes, and you miss the trash other times, and then you go, the old folks' home, and you donate your Saturday afternoon other time. It's all the same level. If it isn't, you're going to be really busy judging and valuing the good and the bad, and you'll just be stuck here forever. Very frustrating way to live. Because you'll make mistakes along the way. You're not a very good judge.
Yeah, remember, it's not that I forgot the garbage.
Yes?
It's that they're having issues
Yes.
about me not doing the garbage. It's their
Yes.
misunderstanding or perception.
Very good. When I go to forgiveness, I'm not forgiving Geraldine for not taking out the garbage. That's just an attack. Because I'm saying it's a problem. She didn't take out the garbage. No. What I'm forgiving is my thoughts that there's any harm done to me, who I am. That I need some kind of recompense. I need some payment. That's bogus. That's what forgiveness is. It's a release of the harm.
So the forgiveness, that's so cool. So the forgiveness never even leaves your neighborhood. Doesn't even leave your sphere.
That's right.
I mean, that's
all right.
When you forgive,
You cannot leave its source.
You're forgiving
Your thought about
your
how you
thoughts
saw what
Good.
happened.
Good.
about
Yes.
if someone violated me or whatever.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's incredible.
There it is. Let's just sit here in a moment of silence because
That's amazing.
you just said it.
Can't hear it
I
again.
want everybody to hear that.
Say it again.
Say it
Yeah,
again.
say it
Okay, I'm sorry, I wasn't very articulate. But,
Perfect.
no,
No, it's
it's
perfect.
it's when we forgive, there's really no transference of energy or any message sent outward. It's truly a transformation of our own thoughts about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no condescending, I forgive you, or any of this stuff. It's just you reorganize, you shift somehow. The Holy Spirit helps you look at things differently.
Yep.
So it
Makes you
never even
present.
leaves.
Right.
Yeah. See, that's exactly what's happening to me. It's not leaving. It's just I'm kind of like within my own, like you say, playground or
neighborhood.
Yep, your neighborhood.
whatever.
She has a neighborhood, you have a playground. That's
Yeah.
right.
So, but, you know, it's just I'm thinking this all out, and I'm just kind of like, wow, I got to show him what he murdered.
No. Wow.
You know, I mean, it sounds like an attack, but we're going to court already.
Yep.
You know, he threatened to kill me.
Uh-huh.
He killed his dad. Oh, God, there's going to be a funeral and all this.
Uh-huh.
Man, I got to show him this.
But remember, you're really not showing him.
The law's going to show him.
You're showing your thoughts about him. It's the same thing
Yeah,
that Jeremy was
yeah.
saying.
Good, Jennifer.
It's your, because you know you can't control what he does, but you certainly can. You can transform your own thoughts about. Your own thoughts about what he does.
So is this changing your thinking about your thinking?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so in that way, there's no way you will be disappointed. If you know that's how you're going in, you've already, so to speak, won. You've already won.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm hoping for a miracle in this thing.
You already got it.
Your miracles
Yeah.
in you. It's
like
not about what happens.
loaded with miracles. There's angels all
Well,
around you. No problem there.
Everything already is perfect.
I'm
except
kind of like in a difficult situation. I'm just kind of looking